Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our business success training. We're Jan and Al Hagopian. We live in Racine, Wisconsin. We're parents of 3 kids, grandparents of 4 kids under the age of 4. It's kind of crazy. We're very active. So I'm 66, Al's 74. We just enjoy our life, and Relive has played a big part in that. Our why, and you can see here, I have when you know your why, you'll know your way. When we first started, we did look at Relive for the business. I was a stay-at-home mom. The kids are 3, 5, and 7, and I was looking at having to go back to work. Of course, I didn't want to. And Al was the one that was always looking for something. And of course, he couldn't add any more to his plate. He was doing everything he could, but we just needed that extra income to pay our bills at the end of the month. So he heard about Relive actually from a stranger, and that stranger is actually on the call today, Sean Bergeron. We didn't have a relationship. We didn't have, we didn't know him, but there was just something that intrigued us and caught our interest. So, to start off with, I thought we were healthy. We ate well, we exercised, but we thought, let's just give this a try. I was a little leery about network marketing because they were just getting a bad rap back in the 90s when we started, and nobody was supplementing. It was something totally new. So started on the core nutrition. And for me, what happened was I just was not dragging through the day, and I wasn't exhausted in the evening. And that really caught my attention. And as time went on, I really got more results. I saw improvement with my seasonal allergies. I had a skin condition where my hands would crack and bleed. I saw improvement with that. I also had bad discomfort in my knees when I exercised, sometimes sidelining me for months, which drove me crazy because I'm active. I like to exercise. And I didn't deal with that anymore. And as time went on, my cholesterol levels were in the normal range. So that was exciting. And the products are safe, no warning labels. We put the kids on, no more sick visits. Boys got results with the same skin condition I had, our daughter with acid reflux, and our youngest son got great results with a neurological condition, to the point where it was pretty bad. And it got to the point where no one even knew that he had it. And that really changed his life. So we were excited. But I'm going to let Al share his health story now.
Well, actually, the way we started is relevant to what we're doing now with this new product, Energize Go. I was a soccer and a basketball coach at the time. This is 1992. I'm 44 years old. I'm tired all the time, but what I've been reading about was energy drinks. And so we ordered 2 cans of Energize. One of them we drank ourselves, and one of them I had my team drink. The team loved the Energize. I really liked the Energize that we were drinking ourselves, and we said, hey, this company maybe makes good products. Let's try more. And we got on the basic nutrition from there. The results I saw myself was I wasn't tired at 3 o'clock at practice. That was huge for me. I tried eating all sorts of ways, and I was just simply always tired in the middle of the afternoon. But it got better. I had 2 knee operations by that time. I was pretty much in pain a lot of time from playing contact sports back in the days. My knee stopped swelling. I was able to resume activities, including I was refereeing college soccer, which took a lot of running, paid well, but I couldn't ever do back-to-back games, whether it be college or high school, because of my knees swelling and hurting. My knee stopped swelling. I had also been told by a doctor right before we started Relive that I was borderline high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And he suggested I get on medication. And it wasn't really why we started Relive. It just happened to be at the same time. And the next, I thought I waited, and the next time I had a checkup, and every time since, my cholesterol and blood pressure were fine. And today at age 74, reaching 75, I'm medication free, which is very unusual with the guys I see at my age.
So then we did look at the business, of course, because that was our initial interest. And we got up to the top profit level our first month. For me, I'm thinking, again, like I was saying, I was a little bit leery. I was thinking, well, these are great products. Our family's going to stand them. Let's get the best price. Al was thinking, let's make the most for our efforts. And really, he was, even though we thought it was something I could do, I didn't see it at first, and Al did it. And he really worked it into the cracks of his lives. And he's the one that was out there, and I was watching him do it. And so we recouped our investment, earned $1,000 that first month, and that's how our business started. As time went on, and of course that grew. We've been on 15th, going on our 16th. All expense trade trips with Relive, $1,000 in cash bonuses, help pay for our kids' private education, college, their weddings. And now we're doing things with our grandkids. So our retirement years would look a lot different if we didn't have Relive in the little lineup here. You want to say any more about the business?
Well, and it allowed us to retire early.
Yes.
I mean, starting at 44, I had started late. We had our third kid when I was 41. I'd saved no money. My dad, who had retired at 55 as a police officer, would tease me that I was never going to be able to retire. I was able to retire early because of Relive. And that $1,000 a month we made to start out with was really cash, exchanges from people that I was seeing on the golf course at my jobs. All the people we started were either fellow coaches or referees.
My daughter was 8, my son was 6, and I was 360 pounds. And that shocked our family. So I decided to start doing research, learning about what I could do to better our family and our health. And through this research, I realized that Mother Nature's there for us, and we weren't giving it a try. And through this research, my wife Edith bumped into a commercial through Relevant Radio with an opportunity to work from home because my wife was stressed. We both worked for the Chicago Public Schools system. And she goes, well, if you really don't want to stressed out wife, let's give it a try. I think it's what you're trying to do, but just in a better form. So we went to a presentation. I remember it was a cold January night, but there was about at least 200 people there sharing their stories. And because I had did some homework, because I was skeptical. I saw that can, and I was like, wow, these ingredients I have in my counter, I have in my basement, So that night we went home and we became master affiliates. We wanted the best price for our family of 4, and with that's now been 6 years. And within the 6 years, I have gotten rid of over 40 pounds. I got rid of over 60 inches in body mass. And in my opinion, it saved my life. Like I said, I work for Chicago Public Schools, and it was a stressful year. I ended up in the ER. The doctor goes, well, those are signs of a heart attack. Those are signs of a stroke. You need to go straight to the ER and get checked out. So, I was getting test after test after test, and the doctors in the ER were amazed that I was well, but my blood pressure I couldn't stabilize my blood pressure. So my blood pressure got stabilized. I went home. I didn't get an operation, and that's one of the reasons why I say that really saved my life, because it just fortified me. And because for the past 2 years prior to that, I was already taking the Relive, so my arteries are clean, my kidneys were clean, my livers were clean, and a couple of weeks ago, I went to the doctor and the heart specialist, and the doctor goes to me, and I quote, "Your labs are pretty darn good," and all these little things that have done for me, we have helped people. My wife has helped people, and in 2020, we were blessed to have won on a trip to Amelia Island. And just like the Hagopians, we're just helping people and blessing lives and just giving hope. And little by little, we hope to continue our journey in this real world.
Thanks so much, Martin. And aren't those trips fun? Yeah.
Yes, they are, and we're blessed to continue to get them. And and I know that they are fun, and it's a struggle but for me, the stories that when they call you and tell you how they're feeling better, it goes hand in hand, and
Yes.
and I'm just getting, it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, well, you and Edith really have a heart to help people. And thank you so much for sharing. Next, Merv is going to come on. He said he's on his phone. So let's see if we can get Merv on here.
Actually, I sort of figured out technology and got on video. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah. How you doing this morning?
Hi, Marv. Go ahead, share your story.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Merv, you're up. Sorry.
Okay. Been a long time with Relive, but I'm so thankful. So many things have happened, from just realizing that I had energy in the afternoon, not having to take those naps, and just feeling better than I thought I would in my 20s, but late 20s. But now that I'm in my 54, I'm doing a lot of combative martial arts stuff, and I'm finding the Relive over the long term has just really helped to keep my body really in good shape, that I can take the kind of training and do what I'm doing. Because about 2-3 weeks ago, had about 8 days of training, heavy training, and within 10 days, and did really well. Being thrown around, being punching and training, and a lot of that goes to just taking a lot of the Relive, the anti-inflammatory stuff, and the new Energized Go. I was able to keep on going and outlast all the 30-year-olds and beat them up. So I had a good time with that, and done so many other things. But lately, that's been the fun part of my story, of the longevity and what it's done for my body and keep me going at 54.
Thanks so much, Merv. And you woke up early too. You're out in LA. But I do know that you are involved in the business too, because first time I met you was on a cruise. So you are slowly helping people also. And I think that's exciting too. You've worked that into your lifestyle, into going out there and helping people feel better.
Oh yeah, it's a very rewarding in so many different ways when you're helping people and you hear how the product has helped them. And when things happen in people's health and things going better, you'd be very surprised at how other aspects of their life start getting better. In so many ways, that's just really wonderful.
That is. Thank you again, Merv, for waking up and sharing your story. And now we're going to go to Joanne in, are you Troy, Illinois? You're close to there. So let's take it away, Joanne.
Okay, yes, I'm near Troy. I'm about maybe 7 miles or less from Troy. And I'm Joanne Smith from Glen Carbon, Illinois. And I had fibromyalgia for 20 years. And I tried medicines. I tried the most expensive vitamins, everything. Someone told me about Relive. I first said no, and she said, well, you're not getting any better, are you? And I thought, well, I guess I'm not. So I did exactly what she did, and I started on the product. And I would say in 6 weeks, my depression lifted and my energy came back. Took a little longer for my pain, and my pain went away. And I also had a heart doctor because I had very high cholesterol and blood pressure, and another had a little heart problem. And when I started taking Relive and the Lunar Edge X, I don't have a heart doctor anymore. I'm not on any medicine. My cholesterol's down, my blood pressure's down, and I think my heart's pretty good, never have to go to the doctor. And I was not going to do the business, but I went in at 40% to get the cheapest price. And I would go over with Linda Crodel and a bunch of them over to St. Louis to hear the stories. And I heard stories. I said, I'm not doing the business. I have a niece that has the same thing as this guy's story. She had migraines, and I had other people. And I thought, I was sick for 20 years. How can I not help people? People didn't help me for 20 years. So I just started telling people. I told my niece her migraines got better. I started telling other people. And what I did, I had a gift for them. And what I did after you start telling people, I got first in the nation in 2018. And now what is happening with the Energize Go, I have given the Energize Go out. And with it, they want to know more. They want to know more about the product. And I got 2 bonuses from people last month from just giving them an Energize Go. I'd give them Energize Go, oh, I want to know more about this product. And they ended up taking a lot of the product. And yesterday I met with the man I gave the Energize Go. He was a construction worker and he was always sick. I also sold him the defense earlier when he kept telling me he was sick. Yesterday I met and he's going to go into the full program. So it starts the little things, and it starts where they're, where I start them where they need to start. And, at 85, I am not putting the world on fire or anything, but I'm keeping on going because you know what I love about this business? It doesn't matter how old you are. You still have the stories, you still have the Relive system, you have the product. I mean, I have everything that everyone else has. All I have to do is open my mouth, and I'm still enthused as I was. And you know what? I am amazed how many people want this product. And so that's why we just keep continuing. And I am so excited about it, and I always will be. Thank you for letting me share.
Well, thank you, Joanne. I just love it. You're 85, you're healthy, and you just have that heart to go out and help people. And thanks so much for sharing. And now we're going to go to Sean. And Sean is actually the one who introduced Al and I to Relive. So Sean, would you share, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And anyways, thanks, Jan and Al for having me on this morning. And I'd love to. I got started in Relive a number of years ago. I had been in the accounting profession. I did that for about 10 years out of college. I find myself at 30 years old. I was in probably 25, maybe $30,000 worth of credit card debt. I was frustrated with my career. I began looking for a business. I searched high and low, and I found a number. I was looking at conventional businesses, but I found a number of them. But they all required the one thing I couldn't give it, Jan, and that was capital to invest. I was broke, and there was nobody stupid enough to lend me any more money. So I pretty much given up hope. I ran into my cousin Tom Moody at a golf outing, and he started telling me about Relive and what the products had done for him and his family. And then he shared that the one sentence that got my attention was, he said, I quit my job to do this Relive thing full time. And he said, Sean, after 1 year of doing it part-time, I'm making more money monthly part-time with Relive than I am in my full-time job in the insurance industry. And I said, really? I said, well, tell me about it. And we were at a golf outing, so he invited me to come to a meeting, and very much like we do on our webinars now on Tuesday night, but exactly the same practically. And but it was in person. It was at a small meeting room with a number of folks and a little conference room at a hotel. And from the time I walked through the door, I realized I had found something extraordinary. And it started with the quality of the people in that room and the stories they told. I heard people getting results with migraine, headaches, clinical depression, allergies, asthma, weight loss, energy, arthritis. I mean, I didn't have any of those problems at that point in my life, and I still don't, thank God. But you know, I was fascinated by their stories, and the fact that I was believing them was even more fascinating. And it was their genuineness. Then they showed the business model, how you earn income. And when I saw that, I realized I just found the business I was looking for, but didn't even know existed. You know, because real estate business, you can run it out of your home. You can have it. You can do it part-time if you need to or want to, or full-time. That's up to you. You decide the hours you put in. There's no financial risk. There's no way to lose money. Company has 100% buyback on any and all products their whole first year. No need for employees, insurance policies, overhead, non-existent. So I jumped in. I thought maybe this is going to be my only chance to own a business of my own, you know, create a wealth building asset, if you will. And I had no sales background. I knew nothing about nutrition, but there's people in that room willing to help me, just like there is for every distributor that joins our company. I took that free help, and in the first 30 days, I was able to sell $11,000 worth of product. I profited $1,500 part-time. And let me tell you something, there was nobody more surprised than I was at the end of that first month. Got a little more serious about it as myself and my family got great results with the products. 3 weeks on the products, I started waking up the alarm clock first time in my adult life. Wasn't tired at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I lost 15 pounds the first month on the products without trying to lose weight. My brother-in-law got tremendous results with allergies and asthma. My nephew got off a drug called Ritalin for a problem called ADHD after being on these Relive products 4 months. My mom got life-changing results with rheumatoid arthritis. And you know, that none of that came as a surprise, because I would have never sold the products to my family if I didn't believe they would benefit from it. But it validated what I had already believed. And I got a little more serious about the business side of it at that point. First 90 days part-time, I made $7,000. And though that hadn't replaced my full-time income, it gave me the courage to take a leap of faith, and I did. I left my career, came home, started doing Relive full-time right off my kitchen table, set my own hours, being my own boss, which was a little scary because I'm not a real motivated person by nature. But yeah, I just kept doing what I was doing, just doing more of it. And then it took me a couple of years to get it to it was consistently paying me $6,000 a month. By the end of the third year, it was over $10,000 a month in income. And then between year 3 and 6, and the company, one of the officers of the company told me this would happen. I didn't really believe him, but between year 3 and 6, my business spread from my kitchen table to 40 states, 5 foreign countries. None of it done by me personally, but by the end of the 6th year, my monthly income had reached $20,000 a month. I've now had, I don't know, it's multiple 20 plus years of 6-figure incomes over that stretch since then. I have the most blessed and inexplainable life because of Relive. And yeah, I'll be forever grateful, Jan, Al, for 2 things. One, that, you know, Tom said something, opened his mouth. You know, I think every one of us as distributors are thankful for that person that opened their mouth finally. Like Joanne said, all the 20 years of pain and nobody said anything to her about her, anything that brought her anything to help her. Well, and the second thing I'll be forever thankful for is that I had the courage to do something with it, because it wasn't in my nature to do stuff like that I knew nothing about like that. But they both worked out very well. So thanks.
Thanks, Sean, for sharing. And thank you for all the help you've given us throughout the years.
Oh, no problem.
All right. So now we're going to start the training. And as we go through this training today, I want you to think about what your why is, because that's really important. Because there's a lot of ups and downs with Relive. But if you know your why, even the toughest days are going to become easier. Oh. There we go. So how do you succeed with Relive? They have a circle of success. There's fundamental steps. And I was trying to figure out today, what do we want to talk about? But, you know, what we did almost 30 years ago is what we're still doing today. And I have to tell you also that success is not a given, it's earned. But as you go and do these fundamental steps, you're going to find new people, and that new people, that's a lifeline of Relive. You know, put them into the system, teach them how to do the daily activities, introduce them to different corporate support. So here the circle of success is, and it is called, and I kind of know this if you've been around a while, it's called ICSAR. So you identify, you connect, share the story, ask for decision, and register and go. And those are our daily fundamentals. I put this quote in there under the key is action now, because inaction is going to breed doubt and fear. And I experienced that. Action breeds confidence and courage. So you learn this business by doing it.
Absolutely. And when you talk about new people, there's a saying in Religion, if you have two eyes, one eye should always be on new people. And if you only have one eye, it should be on new people. So that's the key for sure. And we still keep doing that every day, 30 years down the line. But on the follow-up question too, that's a key point of our business. And the way I do follow-up is at first, I just simply check to make sure that they're taking. I get a commitment from them to start out. And then I call them back and say, are you doing what you said you were going to do? So all of those are the key aspects to building a continuing business.
Okay, so identifying. Here it says, make a list, 10 product prospects, 10 business prospects. When we started, they go, make a list of everyone you know. And it was pretty daunting. You looked at this list with hundreds of names on it. I personally froze. I just looked at it and I was afraid. I'm thinking too much. What are people going to say? What are they going to think? But my quote down there on the bottom goes, what you're afraid to do is really a clear indication of what the next thing you need to do. So I like this 10 and 10 because you can start with that and then you just add 10 and 10 and add 10 and 10. And by each person, always write down why you thought of them because it's going to give you that purpose for that first contact. Maybe you heard a story and somebody popped into your mind, or maybe you just know that they need extra income. Maybe they were laid off, or maybe right now I hear a lot of people, complaining about allergies this time of year. So there's a reason why you are thinking about this person, and that who are the first 5 to contact. That it goes who today. I heard this early on in Reliving it. It kind of really, I think, defined me was. Analysis of paralysis. If you want to move forward, you just have to take action. You can't just sit there and think about everything. I thought I had to know everything that was in the product or all this kind of stuff. Well, you don't. And always have new people to talk to. We kind of have gone through family, friends, work, church, school, social media. The way I don't do social media like a lot of people are doing, but I scroll through it a few times a day and I just see what people are saying. And I private message them, like, right, and somebody goes, oh, my allergies are killing me. And I just start a conversation in a private message, maybe saying, oh man, how long have you been dealing with that? That's awful. And then they come back and then just say something like, oh, what are you doing about it so far? And you go back and forth until there's like then the lead in after I've asked them a few questions, started the conversation, built the relationship. Then I'd say, would you be willing to take a look maybe at something that can help you? And then you just listen and for them to respond. Now, the biggest thing with our business is opportune moments. And I'm going to let Al talk about that.
Well, we don't belabor people. We tell them about it. One of the things I think that happened was over the years, people saw that we didn't quit. A lot of times I hear people say, you're still doing that? And I say, yeah, it's great. It keeps getting better. But another aspect to it that I think is key to keep in mind when you're identifying prospects is I kind of looked at our business and roughly half of it comes from people who said no to us at first, sometimes multiple times. Obviously, they were watching what we were doing and we didn't. A lot of times they brought it up after we had seen them or something came up that was just natural to talk to them about it. So a no is not a no forever. It's kind of a big circle, and we just keep we're running into people, seeing people, contacting people, and eventually the truth was that the people that start don't stop, and that's no small matter.
Okay, so then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to connect people. So go through those 20 prospects, figure out who you want to do first. And do it with your upline. I know it seemed kind of awkward to me in the beginning to do that, but the reality is they have the strength and they'll know how to respond to people. You don't in the beginning. So it's really important to have that strength with you. Just be yourself, create an interest, use their why, let them know you care. And there's a lot of company tools that we can use now to validate whether it's a story call, a webinar. I copy paste stories, send them to people. But your goal here is to set the appointment. But as you're going through all this, also remember, you can't force someone to comprehend your message that they're not ready to receive. Still, you must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. And I think Al just kind of alluded to that.
Well, one funny story I recall with Sean years ago on an appointment was there was a guy who was kind of, a super confident guy or whatever. He'd been on the products maybe a couple of weeks, and he said he wasn't getting any results yet. And Sean was with me on the appointment, and Sean says to him, well, that's kind of funny that all these other people are getting results and you're not. That kind of strength in dealing with the follow-up. And then that was at the start of our business, has stayed with me for 30 years.
Here's some examples of some opening sentences. Hey, Kathy, I know your health's a priority. Working with the company can really help you. When can we get together? And then just listen. Hi, John. At the soccer game, you mentioned finances are tight. You need to hear about something that's helped me. When can we get together? Again, stop and listen. I just started something, made me think of you. You really need to check this out. When can we get together? And again, after each of them, when you ask those questions, the key is to not say anything else, just wait for them to respond. And this is Al's famous one.
Well, actually, a lot of our how are you? Yeah, that's how you start conversations with people, and then ask them questions about themselves, and they'll talk their way into it. I tell you, that $1,000 a month right from the start came largely from people talking about being tired. And I still see people all the time say they're tired. And I said, are you tired a lot? They said, I'm tired all the time. I'm doing this, that, whatever. And I'd say, well, I used to be that way too. And sometimes I'd say nothing else and wait for them to say, well, what do you mean by that? I got a lot of people that way.
And the bottom line, again, you can see my little Nike swoosh there, so you just have to do it. So sharing the story, you guys share your story, your belief, your heart and soul. So, you want to share the whole story. And I remember in the beginning, I was going, well, I just, why do I have to tell about the business if they're just thinking about the products? And again, it's that planting the seed element involved in it. I've had people arrange 3 ways with me and they go, well, don't say anything about the business because they're not interested in, and I'm going, I tell my story my way. I won't elaborate on it, but I'm going to say something about the business because that's my story. So I always mention it, even if it's just a sentence or two, like at the end, I was able to retire early. I paid for our kids' college, whatever, little things that might hit that person, depending on who they are. And another important part on this is knowing how to tell your story. People must have thought I was nuts because this is before people had like little ear things and were talking all the time. I'd be telling my story as I'm driving in my car, looking at the clock, timing it because I wanted to get it under a minute, and I would just do it over and over and over until you can really streamline it, because you tell that 1 minute story. Again, you're creating the interest, and then they can ask more, and then you can get more involved. And always be positive and upbeat. I think Al and I are just like that by nature, but your vibe attracts your tribe.
I wasn't that way before I started feeling them.
Well, true. And when you share the story, you want to help the new people engage themselves and figure out who they know, get them plugged into meetings, events. How we started was Sean lived in Chicago. I forget how, it must have been 2 hours from the drive here. He just said, invite people to your house and I'll do the presentation. And he did that multiple times. And that's really how we moved the product in the beginning and got it going. Now you have so many webinars, conference calls. Distributors are so gracious that they will take their time to share stories, even if you're not financially connected, which I really like to. But there's so much out there, and you have to help those new people engage and figure out how to use all this and how it works. Now, you don't have to know it all, and be honest. Just use Relive System to educate. And this is one of my favorite people in Relive, Jimmy Rogers. People would ask him a question. All he would say was, I don't know about that, but I do know that my friend that had migraines isn't suffering anymore. And they might ask him another product question. He'd go, I don't know about that. he would tell a story. And that was so valuable to hear that he did it that way. And I don't know, maybe you're afraid to say that, but I think you have to be honest because we don't know actually a lot of it, like what's in the product and what it does and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to be brutally honest. But remember, everything will fall into place. You just got to be patient, trust the process.
I will say that people who I've heard this before, people I look at, news prospects, I always envision them as presidential directors, but I'm surprised if they agree to get on the products. So that's kind of and something Bob Montgomery always said was people who you think will do it won't, and people who you'd never think would do it will. And that has been so true for us.
And then you want to ask for a decision. Be prepared to do the business. There's so many tools. And now, with the Relive app, and you can do so much from your phone. I have to tell you, when we started, there weren't cell phones. You paid long distance. When you were three-waying, sometimes it was 2 long-distance calls that you're paying for. To call the company to order was long distance.
You had to order cases.
You had to order cases, all this stuff. And it's so much easier now. The only thing now, I think, is there's more competition.
Yeah.
But again, there's also, with that competition, people understand network marketing. So that's a good thing, too. So just be prepared when you're out there. We tend to start people on the core nutrition with the LunaRich X if they can afford that. And that's the way that we've been starting. And now with the Energize Go, it's a great way to start somebody. And I like this quote here: prepare and prevent, so you don't have to repair and repent. And ask for a decision. Where do you see yourself getting started? And the key thing here, is be quiet and let them be the first to say something. I still remember I was on an appointment with Sean, and there's that awkward silence. I thought it was a long time. It might have been 5 seconds. And I started going, oh, maybe you need to talk to your husband. And I felt this kick under the table. It kind of startled me. And, and then I kind of was quiet. We got back in the car, and Sean said, she may not have been thinking that. And you planted that in her head and she used it. And I was like, oh. So you always have to just wait. Even if it seems like an eternity, just wait, let them say something first. The key, you gotta listen. And always remember, people are gonna make decisions. Maybe you don't agree with them, but those choices are still their own, and you have to go with what they want.
Well, like I said before, we started on the Energize alone. That's just simply what our interest was. And I'm sure a lot of people would have liked to have sponsored us.
True. And I've had people say no, they give me referrals. So, hey, that's not bad either.
Oh, yeah.
And way back early in the business, I heard this saying too, some will, some won't, so what, who's next? You just got to keep moving on. And ask for that decision, when I'm going to build a business, great. Let's get them started. It is so easy. Review the profit options, revisit the comp plan. Again, listening is often the only thing you're needed to help somebody. So just ask questions and listen and do what's best for them. And the who do you know, again, is always important to ask. Register and go. Again, this is easy to follow up. Help them with their product regimen, and you have to continue to educate them with stories, and you have to look for them. You have to help them move up. Here's a sample follow-up. Day 1, did you take your shake today? A lot of people don't even open the can and just say, how did you mix it? People do goofy things, and you have them tell you how they mixed it. Don't just say, oh, did you put a scoop in whatever water? Let them tell you. Day 3, the whole thing about this we know is that you have to be consistent. So that, again, you're just calling them to make sure they're consistent. And Al always says this on the appointment.
Or that the average is what I'm going to be asking you on day 10. What results are you seeing? That has a big impression on people.
And he always says that on the appointment as he's giving it. Day 10, I'm going to ask you. And again, ask them who they think could benefit. Some love stories, some hate stories. I mean, I have people that just want me to text them. Some people love listening and connecting with people and talking to them, but follow-up is crucial. And the quote down there goes, it takes months to find a customer and it takes seconds to lose one. Again, registering and go, you want to set them up. You want to teach them to do what you did, which really is this XR. That's all it is. Identify, build a list, connect, you can call, share the stories, set appointments. and just review the basics. If they're new, you're going to have to help them order, teach them how to register people, how to navigate it. And it's so easy because there's so much to use here, and they can just go on to relive.com and learn a lot. My quote here was, do what you say you're going to do. And that's important because if that's how you're building a relationship and how they're going to trust you. And the system for me was crucial. When we first started, the closest was 2 hours away in Chicago. We couldn't do that. We had a 3, 5, and 7-year-old. I was coaching. I didn't even drive to Chicago alone back then. But there's a couple that was doing this full time that started a system in Milwaukee, and we got together with them and going every Tuesday and every Saturday. For me, that repetition of hearing it over and over and over and over again. So when I was out somewhere and somebody would say something, it would just come out of me because I'd heard it so many times and it became part of me. And, if I now, when I wake up in the morning, I might not listen to the webinar at night, but I make sure I listen to it the next morning. I'm listening to all those positively charged calls, webinars, and that just gets me going and gets me thinking of other people before I leave the house.
One thing I would suggest to people who, if they're serious about the business, is studying the Star Director bonuses. I mean, to me, that's the essence and the basic of the business. You get 3 first-line master affiliates and you have $6,000 in volume. You get an extra 1%. 6, you get 2%. 10, you get 3%. That's just huge if you start crunching the numbers. And that's really the basic way how to build a significant residual income.
So here's our system. And I have that entrepreneurship quote up there because if you're doing Relive, you're an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So the business cycle here with Relive is, every day we're doing those daily activities, presentations, the in-homes, all of that. And if I don't have people to go on with me or plug into it with me, I do it on my own, the calls and trainings and webinars. And, you're going to plug them into that business cycle. And we have the special events are starting again. I'm so excited because that's, we would go to, even when we didn't have our system here, we'd go to Chicago for the special events, and they were having them every 6 weeks. I mean, they were building like every 6 weeks. They had something to look forward and build to. And that was exciting for us. And I saw those Chicago checks increase and grow because they had that mindset of promotions of events every 6 weeks. And the whole thing again is, and you'll get the new people by doing the daily activities. Then you're going to show them the corporate support. And this might be a little bit old here, but now we have the positively charged, the Monday business call, the Tuesday webinar, the Wednesday coffee chat, short and sweet call, Saturday training. You can join the Relive Facebook group, and they have marketing tips, training tips, social media tips, compliance tips, and they recognize people. And there's a lot of other, your upline might have their own call or their own things that they do. So there's a lot out there. And one thing too that I think is important now is striving for that promo 1, 2, 3 every month. I think this year we've got the promo one time, actually in the one time we got 10 customers. But when you get that, you're building your business. And what we've been doing, you get a $100 product credit, and we've been using that to buy the Energize Go to give out as samples. So that's one of our goals, is to make sure we have that 5, 10 customers every month. And of course, we want to get the quick starts and master affiliates also. But that promo 1, 2, 3 is also a great way to get your business going. Conference. All right, we're going to have one this year. It's a wellness conference, August 19th and 20th. And, here's where you see the big picture, grows your all belief. This year is going to be totally different. They have, I thought I wrote some little notes. Oh, yeah. They have Paul Adams, who's a direct sale industry expert on the board, will be talking. We have Peter Grissom. He's a product consultant. We have Gordon Heston. He's a global business strategist. He's kind of ramping up our technology. And so the conference will be different this year. And I'm excited to see that different format. You have until the end of the month to register. It'll be $99, the early bird special. And after that, it increases to $145. Our first conference, and I have to say, I still wasn't totally sure about all this, but Sean said he'd pay for a hotel. So We were broke. I thought, a vacation, send the 3 kids by my mom. We'll go to St. Louis, whatever. But we got there, and that, we really saw what this was. It was bigger than we thought. And it was really got me turned around to, yes, I want to do this. This is something exciting. Engage your team, develop stories. One thing, you have your upline, your downline, they're going to introduce you to people. You can get numbers, stories, use tools, relive system. One thing I do, like on webinars or on calls, is that I always have a pad of paper. I write down, the name, where they're from, the results, and I immediately go to see if they're on Facebook. And if they are, I do a friend request, send them a private message, get their phone number. Then I have another story in my little repertoire of stories. And you want to build relationships, because showing up builds trust, trust builds relationships, relationships will build your business. You have to always, again, I'm going to teach new people the promo 1, 2, 3. It's a great way to build. Ultimately, you kind of map out the road, the PD, figure out, stretch their thinking, see what they want, where they want to go, who's going to be next. Anything else?
Yeah, other than make it fun, have fun. I know when I coached basketball, it was a dream to go in the gym and try to teach kids. And we were just down in Florida, and there'd be kids playing basketball. And I just loved maybe jumping on the court, maybe the little kid showing them something. And it's got to be the same way with this. You'll be successful if you figure out a way to really have fun with this.
And we all have our own styles.
Yeah.
We do it totally different than other people do it, but that's okay. That's the beauty of it. It's your business. You can do it how you want. There's those fundamentals you follow, but then you put your own little twist and personality into it. Again, duplicate. You just keep doing the same things over and over and over again. And, when I first thought about that too, it's like when I started exercising, if I didn't continue to do it, if I stopped, start, stop, every time I'd start up again, I'd have that little bit of a pain or that muscle soreness or whatever. And this is the same thing. If you start and stop, it's harder. You just have to be consistent, and it makes the whole process easier. And duplication, you're leading a large group of people to do a few simple actions, and they are simple actions over a sustained period of time. And we all have the same products and tools and systems. The only difference here in this whole scenario is you. And we always say, like, who's next? Anything else?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to finish. I like this. It's the 7 rules of life. So it says, let it go. Never ruin a good day by thinking about a bad yesterday. Ignore them. Don't listen to other people. Live a life that's empowering to you. Give it time. Time heals everything. Don't compare. The only person you should try to beat is a person you were yesterday. Stay calm. It's okay not to have everything figured out. Know that in time you'll get there. It's on you. Only you are in charge of your happiness. And smile. Life's short. Enjoy it while you have it. So that is it. Remember, we have our Monday Night Business Builder call this week. And everybody, have a great weekend. I think Sean.
Keelan's going to turn it off.
Oh, okay.
Keelan's going to turn it off.
All right.